opposed to an extraordinary draft, which they normally seem to have.
Exactly, because generally Secret have a really, really smart approach to things, and I know they're going to put some great lanes here, but when I look over at IG's draft, I just see a very well-rounded draft that really has the tools for example, dealing with an Anti-Mage. I think if Arteezy does not have a really explosive early game, he can have a mid game where even if he has great farm, you're playing Anti-Mage into Shadow Fiend, Bristleback, Venge minus armor, even a Sven with bonus armor for the team. There's just a lot of things to play around with, and I think the only reason they really wanted it was for the Mana Void for Lesh. Else, I think they go another route in this game with Arteezy 0. So, should be interesting to see. I actually favor IG's draft this game, though.
Yeah, it looks really strong, and they've got great control abilities. We've actually got a draft with stuns, which we can be happy about, as opposed to our previous game yesterday. But the draft is strong for IG, but Secret, if they can hit their timing, if they can get their space, they can do so. And Puppey on Keeper of the Light and Kuro on Rubik, these two support heroes of Secret can easily do it, especially when you know who's playing what. Kuro's Rubik is legendary. It's probably the greatest Rubik in the world next to a couple of the Chinese players. And Puppey's Keeper of the Light goes back ages. Kuro, though, well, his Rubik is fantastic, but he can't survive this. First stun, second stun, Invictus Gaming, even with a Storm Bomb, they commit all three control abilities to claim the first blood inside the Dire jungle.
You need to be a really good Rubik to survive that. He might be the best Rubik, but that's a little bit too much to handle. Speaking of great Rubiks, just want to mention, by the way, how impressive that hero has been in general over the last few weeks. I thought a lot of teams overrated it, especially I believe we cast some games together in the Chinese qualifiers. Or like, it's obviously not the same caliber of teams in that qualifier, but it was rated really high, and I felt like it didn't have that high of an impact. But these days, the teams we've seen in recent tournaments really, really do it well. Standout player for me on Venge to keep, or sorry, on Rubik to keep in mind has been Lil, who unfortunately for Virtus Pro they did get knocked out earlier today. But like you said, Kuroki also a great Rubik player, and there's more where they came from. So.
Oh yeah. Well, let's get into our lane. So IG, it will be aggro tri-lane versus defensive tri-lane, and unfortunately for Secret, their sentry ward is only millimeters away from seeing the sentry ward of Invictus Gaming, which is this guy right here, right on top of the camp. But while they're hunting for this, Kuro actually has to come back over. Arteezy's trying to stay in the lane as his Anti-Mage and find farm up against the triple stun lineup. You get caught by one of these stuns and you're practically dead. But Arteezy does have that blink, so he could evade at least the magic missile part of the attack, as well as the storm bolt, but he won't be able to disjoint that split earth. That's all about positioning.
And the problem for Secret in this lane is that if they can't pull, I'm actually very surprised they're not trying to drop the second sentry for this, because they should have a feeling that this could be, like, this is where it has got to be, right? Now Kuro has even checked this corner where, can you even put a ward in there? I don't think you can. They're a bit confused, because I guess they're just used to this ward covering.
Yeah, they're thinking at the other side, and Puppey's going to drop the sentry ward down, and now they realize it's like, oh, okay, that's exactly where it was. Meanwhile, Viper, actually in the middle lane, S4 has somehow managed to get a solo kill underneath the tier 1 tower on the Shadow Fiend, while on bottom lane, Luo is in real trouble here, as Zai's going to find himself a solo kill. Snowball into the shards, and with an Orb of Venom, it was impossible for the Bristleback to run away. Only 1 point up with that Bristleback, that's when it's still possible for a Tusker to get on top.
This is so huge for Secret, because that top tri-lane, even though they can start pulling soon, or actually now, they lose a lot of momentum in the lane just by losing these first 2 minutes. And now the thing that happens is their solos can just carry the weight now.
You don't want to be doing this again, man. He's up against Zai in the bottom lane. The snowball comes in. He took so much damage from the creep wave, and Zai, he's got 5 cool stacks on top in the south, cancelled by that one little range creep. But Zai wants to keep chasing it in. He doesn't have snowball mana. In fact, he's got ice shards off cooldown in 1 second time and the mana available. He can keep Luo away from the haste stream, but realize it's not worth the mana investment. So they just let it go.
Ferrari mid again is in trouble against S4. He's diving really deep, but a little bit of fogging there around the trees will keep him safe. But yeah, these 2 solo lanes for IG have been a disaster so far. It can definitely happen. You get run over as Shadow Fiend against Viper. If Viper gets a head start, he is very, very strong for this particular lane. But just on paper, I'm very surprised that Zai is winning this Tusk versus Bristleback matchup. I would have favored Bristle for this just...
yeah, I know we were talking about it before we even started. We're looking at the draft, thinking, can you actually just leave him to go? Puppey trouble on top lane. They've gone for the first stun, double stun into Puppey as well as Kuro. And now Arteezy comes to join the fight for Chuan. Maybe there's enough life. Kuro's on the chase. Oh, he's out on the run, sorry. And Arteezy, no blink dagger available. The poor man's shield, at least the PMS can block a little bit of the damage. Blinking 1 second time, he can't do it. The Strike lightning will connect, and IG will find themselves more kills on this top lane. Puppey won't throw out the Illum to give the harassment damage on the way out. And IG have also got unwanted aggro. They've dragged that creep wave down, which means now the full creep wave comes onto the tower, and that's easy experience, which Puppey desperately needs. They need to have chakra. They need to find levels and the ability to spam out this Illumine on top lane. So if IG do dive, they're at least a little bit low on life when they come onto the tower.
And that was indeed a very deep dive, where I think if you have a TP on Zai's Tusk in this situation, you just flat out counterplay that very
He's really
easily.
low. One more attack from S4. He hits him too. And now battle for the rune. It's a regeneration. He just lets the Viper Strike go. S4 going for the double solo, and he's got it. Double kill for S4. After already claiming the SF's life solo in the mid, this Viper is a beast at level 6.5. 3-0, 4 minutes in.
Yeah, this mid lane is over. Shadow Fiend does not stand a chance anymore, so they have to either rotate and gank the mid lane once, or they have to start playing defensively around him, which they definitely don't want to do, because that would open up Arteezy's top lane. And I can't stress enough how important it is that Secret solos are outplaying their lanes, because if they weren't, I think IG would have a pretty good grip on the early game, just with how much they're getting out of the top lane. Sure, Lesh doesn't have that great of a lead on the
It's going to be a bubble. Anti-Mage needs a blink, and he's away. Off to the side. Salve as well as one charge will keep Arteezy alive. Burning was actually allowing Chuan to farm up the lane so he could try and get the Split Earth from inside the Fog of War and catch the Anti-Mage out of position. But because he got so close, Arteezy, Chuan just went directly for the Storm Bolt instead.
I'm not sure if Ferrari can manage this one on his own. He had a game yesterday where he went 0-3 in lane. Actually, bottom lane. Luo should be fine, though.
Yeah, just missing on the shards. At the same time, Leshrax killed off Coddle on this top, back behind the tier 1 tower. But if those shards were able to connect and having now the polar punch available for the Tusker, there's a lot more kill potential in this bottom, especially when Kuro just wanders himself in with boots. Even if he's only level 2, having that control factor with telekinesis and a little bit of a Fade Bolt damage is enough to help get the kill.
Ferrari is playing this the way he needs to, though. He got destroyed in lane by S4, and the moment you die once to a Viper as a hero like Shadow Fiend, you're in a lot of trouble. But he went into the jungle and got some stacks, and this is the really big play that they absolutely need to succeed.
Well, S4 is going to go down. Puppey will at least get a little bit of Luna spam as Zai. Moving for actually the shards, getting Burning, twisting him up in the air as he tosses him like an egg. But as a 1-for-1 trade-off, that Viper was still, as you said, the biggest thing they could get. Even if you commit a 3-man smoke and 4 men to kill him off, they got a reaction from Secret as well.
And they lost their Lesh, though, which is, of course, being played in a core position this game from Burning. So in that sense, it's a 1-for-1 core trade, but I still think it's worth it for IG. They simply needed to get Ferrari a little bit more of a grip in the lane, and even though they trade, Secret do port in Tusk. I believe Puppey also ported to that mid lane, so double TPs. It does, however, come at the cost of Arteezy getting a little bit of farm in the top lane, so Secret do get something out of it, and they are still ahead in this laning stage overall.
It's even better for Zai, because he was the man that got that kill onto the track. So he affords arcane boots with this. So you've practically got a Tuskar that never really wants to go back to base anymore. Control the bottom rune, and he'll always have the life. Kuro's also trying to contest Ferrari, who's at this point just farming up. He'll need his level 7. But Viper only has to be just a little bit closer for this. They get a telekinesis pick up and then into a Viper Strike, and they practically got it. And that's why Kuro's hovering around here. Level 3, there's your pickup, which means there it is, pull back, Viper Strike, Ferrari TP out, Baybolt damage, it's not going to be enough. He's ticking low, racking base, but he'll survive long enough while on bottom lane. It was actually a kill coming in for Invictus Gaming as they get the sun on the Tusker, and he'll end up dropping.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And Secret with that rotation mid. Kuroki, level 3 minute 7.5 on his Rubik. It's, of course, it's not that bad, but generally we see him have a really good early game where he sets up a couple of successful kills. And falling behind on Rubik against this kind of, I want to say, face rush lineup, where you're just like, you run in Lesh, you run in Sven, you run in your Bristle. That's the kind of lineup that Rubik really struggles to deal with. He has very weak mobility. You've got the telekinesis level 1 as your only defensive mechanism, and if you get caught by a single stun, you're just dead. So he's going to have a pretty difficult game, I think. And I mean, we're saying it for Rubik. Coddle is kind of the same story, so they need to be very, very cautious in the next few minutes that they don't let IG get the ball rolling too much.
Just keep your distance, farm up like what Puppy's doing at the moment. He just found himself a double stack. So he prepared himself a double stack. So he's just going to find a couple of levels here, pick up your Tranquils, maybe potentially get to a 4-star, get some distance on IG when the fights do begin. And Kuro's just going to find some levels through pulling as well. He needs to have his level 6. And we talk about all the stuns which IG have. Imagine what this can be done, like what can be done in the hands of Kuro if he can get both Arcanes as well as Blink Dagger on this Rubik.
Yeah, and there are a lot of good spell steals. Of course, I want to say maybe the absolute best he can get, at least for many situations, will be the Lightning Storm, just because IG will, as mentioned, want to really run in and catch you off, and a 4-second jumping slow on all of their heroes is really going to cause them a lot of issues in the fights they will be looking for. In addition to that, I want to mention how valuable Warcry can actually be. It's in a lot of games you're like, oh, I got Warcry, I didn't get Stormhammer, but this is the kind of game where you look over at IG's draft once again, so much physical damage coming out from their side that should he be able to steal Warcry mid-game, that could be a valuable spell steal here. 20 armor for 8 seconds for the entire team is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, especially when you have heroes like Keeper of the Light walking around with 1 armor, and same with Kuro. Like, there's not much to speak of. There is, however, one big armor item which is being picked up. I say big, it's not just only for his armor, it's also for the heal. The mech is coming up rapidly for S4. He's only 120 gold away from completing the entire thing. For now, they want to try to crack up mid. There is a Tusk up behind him. The shots come out, but the S4, that's a problem. Snowball in. It's on 4 heroes. I need to make more space, and he's able to do so, keeping burning back. Even if the stun is hit on S4, Kuro will now make his way into Lightning, slowing him down. Not to mention the Sigil making it impossible for IG to chase into the river. That was 4 heroes trying to kill 1, and a very nuisance Snowball. Tusker coming in from the side.
I think Venge and Sven layered their stuns. I'm pretty sure they cast them at the same time. They weren't sure they were both going to get in range, and
it almost felt like they were just trying to do the nuke instead. Like, instead of the control time, it was just get the damage out.
Yeah, but the Tusk Snowball really ruined it for them there. That was a perfect rotation from Zai. Right place, right time. And definitely worth it for them. Like, S4 was trying to force a rotation, and he maybe got a bigger rotation than he wanted. But with no deaths on their side, they're going to be happy with that.
Yeah. Waste of time for IG, more time for Arteezy, who isn't going for the direct Battle Fury, but he still managed to find treads, the PMS which he had from the start, as well as a Ring of Health. Not a lot of money on top of that, but it still allows him to keep the farm going, and while Secret are continuously attacking into the mid or being aggressive onto the bottom, you've got more to play with because you've got space, and that's probably even the bigger thing. Kuro again is just watching Ferrari and just leeching the experience as he farms up the camps.
And S4, as you mentioned, has the mech, so he's still that key item up on Ferrari in the middle lane, who will of course want to look for a mech of his own, unless it doesn't look like Lua will be getting it on the Bristol, so I think that is the plan, and that is an item they definitely do want. As Ferrari again going to be aggressed by S4. Faith is level 6 on the Venge. He's 3-1 and 3. And I talked about this yesterday. I feel like it's been a tendency for IG that Faith has just, first of all, he's stepped up his game, and secondly, he's been given more experience and farm priority by the team than we've seen in the past. I'm saying that as he's 6 and 4 on CS, but it's a 12-minute game, and still, he's been having a really high impact no matter what.
Well, let's see if they can have an impact with this next move. So, rotation time for IG, and again, they'll head themselves up towards the top. They want to find the Anti-Mage. They want to ensure that he gets absolutely nothing. If they can't find him, take the consolation prize.
Oh, Courier would be a decent prize.
It would be, but it's a little bit too far away for them, and they don't know if it's still got the speed boost available.
If they hit a wave of terror on Puppy, he is super dead. He's going to give away his position here, actually.
They have to come underneath the tower. There goes your wave of terror. They do see him. Faith in range for the swap in time, and no! Wow! The Stormbolt will fly globally all the way back.
They were going to be able to make it in there, but Faith cast it as far away as possible, where it still gave vision of Puppy, and even with Warcry, they couldn't catch up in time with the instant TP out, so...
Yeah, in fact, I think the TP happened at the exact same time as the wave of terror was thrown out. Lua on bottom lane, Zai battling with him. He's got Snowball up and running. Shards in 2 seconds to try and hold Lua in position, allowing Kuro to arrive. There's those shards, but Kuro not really in range, not really... Well, he's got 3-point Spade Bolt, but needed S4 as well right behind to do anything with it.
And was that a 2-hero teleport to bottom by Secret? I think... No, never mind. Puppy couldn't have ported because he ported back to base. So S4 TP down, trying to run for that kill, and Kuroki has TP available, so... They did force a rotation here.
IG still brought their players as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a key moment. I think Secret might be making a pretty big mistake if they engage on the Bristle. We'll see if they're going to do it.
It was the same thing.
Like this is fishy right now.
It was the same thing that happened in the mid, though. And that was with 2 players that were able to keep them at bay. Now, the movement down. Luo is a fair way up. With the shards bringing Chorn towards the front line. The Warcry's gone off, and Kuro, the stick charge is 10 away and available for him. Can he survive through it? Well, at this point, the Vengeful Spirit down. Chorn's going to join him, and the rate's not enough. Iron comes in. Ferrari with the Requiem. There's minimal damage. It might be able to kill off S4, but Kuro stealing race, returning it in, and S4 picks up a double kill. They lose only Puppey. And Luo is the sole survivor, defending that tier 1 tower. But Secret is pretty low. They might just back it up.
It's so important for Secret that they get the opening like that they find Faith out there and burst them down quickly. If they, as I mentioned, if they would have gone on the Bristle, if he would have been the hero they found out, they might not have been able to initiate at all. And had they done it, it could have been a disaster. But instead, they find the right targets. They chase down very nicely onto the key heroes. And the surprise factor there, Zai with the early Glimmer Cape really made a big difference.
Because that's what ended up saving Kuro's life. Luo got to be careful being this far up. Puppey's starting to find levels, and soon you're going to actually start to encounter mana leak from the Keeper of the Light onto Luo. And his mana pool is already quite poor. 572. And she looks like our kill's going to be on top lane instead, as in comes Zai, Glimmer Cape in, so they can just punch Burning out, and there he goes. Arteezy is the man to get the kill, enjoying the money, and also enjoying being 800 gold away from having that Battle Fury, the critical item for an Anti-Mage.
It's going to be a good timing, considering he was against an aggressive tri-lane in the start, but this is what I was talking about earlier in the game, where, well, if Secret hadn't won those solo lanes so convincingly, Arteezy wouldn't have this amount of farm right now, because they wouldn't have had to rotate into the mid lane to help Ferrari. They wouldn't have had to gank Luo's lane as well. And all of that really snowballed Secret into a very good position.
Speaking of Luo, he comes in close up against Zai, gets punched up, and there's a double damage rune over on Zai. But Luo kept his back turned, so he was going to be fine there. But on the top lane, Tier 1 tower is forced to be fortified. As Secret is bearing down on it. And they're actually full. There's support coming up from IG. Chuan's the first man to the front lines, got Faith and Burning right behind him, so what is the aggro tri lane of IG returns to the top lane.
Can they? I'm just going to hold this top tower with Burning for now. His farm, considering that he was against the Anti-Mage in lane and was doing better than him, he has fallen behind big time. And it's of course been the rotations that he had to go into to help out his team. I'm not saying they made the wrong play by doing that, but they needed a little bit more crisp execution in the fights they found, especially around that mid lane area against S4 earlier, who, speaking of which, is looking to maybe open up on Burning. They're waiting for Kuro to be able to join. Now he's going to have to go, and Burning's dead.
Yeah, even if he just sticks out from the Viper Strike, Kuro helps him out with a Fade Bolt, but he came in with a Shadow Fiend raise. They're being pulled back out. Kuro can't take damage. Well, the Wave of Terror actually cancels the Storm Bolt. Also unable to get the sun in time, Kuro has to walk himself out this one until Colo can recall him again in 3 seconds time.
He has the same movement speed as the Venge, so there's no way.
They found Luo, snowball in behind the tower of the tier 1, just send him up into the air, and in comes S4, there's damage, stun, something, nothing. Kuro couldn't get there to get off the telekinesis grab. And that would have been it.
Puppey was trying for a Mana Leak into Blinding Light, but Mana Leak only being level 1, the cast range is what disallowed him from getting that kill there. With a level, I think he needed level 3. He could have actually stopped the Bristle port there, and that is an admirable attempt, but not enough. They still get the tower though, they're going to easily be happy with this. Secret are taking very good control of the map, 7,500 golden experience lead, and a farming Anti-Mage with Battle Fury. And to think that this is exactly what IG tried to prevent with their laning, this is not good.
But this is what the panel was also saying previously, like Secret, they just feel comfortable, they play their own game, they play it their way, their style, and don't bother about anything else, because you know if you execute your strategy correctly and you feel like you can outplay the enemy, you just go for it. And that's exactly what ended up happening here as Arteezy now. Because everything else worked in the other lanes, he's up at 1,300 gold after having the Battle Fury already up and running, and he's taking away IG's camp. So now they can't even play around there. He gets 18 or 17-minute Hand of Midas out from Tuskar after he finished the Glimmer Cape. So you get a couple more levels. Maybe Ferrari can do something on this top lane as he comes to Puppey, starts the Requiem, and releases the Requiem.
Okay.
A little bit of revenge on the Captain of Secret, and then a straight TP out by 430. He's out to safety. Kura may not be as safe though. Faith right behind him.
He's going to reach the swap, I think. Oh, maybe not. Lost the vision, and if he needed to cast out the Wave of Terror first, he won't be able to get it. A little bit of movement he loses from that would have been enough for Kuro. So.
He's actually creep skipping now, up against Luo. It's almost like he wants Luo to spend more time chasing him than being in a lane or coming anywhere near neutral camps.
This is the way Arteezy can put the absolute most pressure on the map. If he cuts the wave, he forces a reaction, whether it be supports rotating or, of course, like in this situation, Luo running over and fighting him. So they're taking a very aggressive stance and trying to minimize any impact IG can have right now. And
Radiant's top tower
IG themselves are looking for something.
Maybe they can kill off S4 here. And, yep, there's Meg Charge available, but I think the stuns should be chained well enough that he actually not able to get it off. Yep, there's your stuns. Well, okay, he did get the mech off at least. But it takes so long to kill off that Viper that he was still able to purchase these 2 1K items. So you're only 800-ish gold away from having your Aghanim Scepter. The kill was successful, but in the meantime, you're losing your camps. Now Luo, that Mana Void, able to stop the TP out, and Kura going to pick him up, throw him back. What do we got stolen? Quill Spray? Maybe Kura can start stacking it up as Arteezy taking all the mana out of Luo. So no wall pass stacks, and with a triple TP response, only 2 of them will end up completing. And that's Faith as well as Chuan. It was Ferrari who didn't come back.
This is such a classic secret play that I feel like a lot of other teams don't do enough, which is just putting pressure. I don't think they expected to be able to kill the Bristle. Like, the goal of that entire skirmish was not to kill him off. It was just to force a rotation. And every time IG are playing on the defensive, it opens up the map for Anti-Mage. It gives them possibilities elsewhere on the map. And, you know, it's not all about the kills. It's a lot more about the map, and I feel like Secret understand that like no other team.
They can still have the kills. Ferrari, blinding lighted up, pulled up, throwing around, and where's your ball punch? Well, Zai standing in close. Now he finally tosses Ferrari up, with the Sigil making it impossible for Ferrari to fight, not to mention he can't see Zai. The shards will stop him from running straight back down the mid. Well, the lightning and burning is deterring Secret from going any further. Meanwhile, down south, Arteezy is taking out this tier 2 tower all by himself, and IG almost feel pressure to try and counter-push the mid, but with the Illuminate, the creepway is practically gone, and Zai is coming back in again, maybe looking for shards if Luo is stuck around too long underneath the tower. But Viper will end up taking 1 tower as well on the top lane, and Arteezy hasn't finished on the bottom. So even if they do take the tier 1, which they might, there's your snowball. Face started off with a swap, he's 4 punched up, the stuns are there, but then Kuro stealing swap, pulling it back under the tower, not enough to save him. The Faith completely out of mana, hence getting a little bit stunned up by that mana leak. There's no other follow-up, it's just the Tuskar to die.
Arteezy is just creep skipping mid again now. This is going to be very frustrating. They need to be careful with the courier, actually almost flying that into him. And even though IG do get that mid tower, they traded 1 for 2 towers. They get a kill on Tusk, but it comes at the cost of Arteezy just free farming at the same time. And I was talking about how in this game, I think IG has a really good draft at fighting Anti-Mage, and I still think they do. What they needed to do was make sure he didn't snowball and get a very good early game. They only managed to accomplish that for the first 4 minutes. Now the real challenge begins. They will find a pick on Puppy at least, so that's something for them. Yeah, the lowest prio kill they could get though.
Or maybe they can find Arteezy. He's going to blink down and then TP out, using, in fact, the Fog of War behind the tree. Bernie didn't see him go, and it was the right decision. Understanding the Puppy died back over in the Radiant jungle meant those stunning supports were going to come back over to him. So no point to trying to run it away. At least that's a nice item now up for Ferrari. A full BKB done 22 minutes in.
It's not looking too shabby for IG. They managed to find a couple of kills that keep them at this 7k deficit, which is still manageable, right? You're looking at the at the Anti-Mage, and his net worth right now is obviously ahead of theirs, but when it comes to teamfight impact, he is still massively reliant on Leshrac getting low on mana in the first place, and he can't just fight into their faces when he's running into so much physical damage that IG might still be able to take the teamfights they're looking for. In Secret, it feels like the game they had against Fnatic yesterday, game 1, where they just spread the map, they buy time, they play around the Coddle split push together with the carry. In that case, it was both Queen of Pain and Drow. This time it's the Anti-Mage, and they just build up an advantage. IG will be the ones trying to pressure, looking for this bottom tier 1. This is a very difficult fight, though.
That it is, but the Anti-Mage doesn't have mana style up just yet, so he's not perfect about burning off the instant mana of the Bristleback, but at the same time, you got Coddle, so you're still pretty fine with it. And Kuro, he's still got that nether swap. It's going to last for a couple more seconds, but this means that Kuro, if he wants to, can be your initiator or a direct save if IG initiate in.
I don't think I can't remember seeing an aggressive swapping Rubik.
I can't think of it either.
Asking to get killed.
It's like
At least when you do it with Venge, you have the negative vengeance aura when you die, and you're pretty tanky with your armor and health. Rubik's just, please target me.
I suppose the other way is if VS swaps somebody out, at least you can swap him deeper into your lineup and instantly kill him.
Radiant's middle tower
So it's a guaranteed kill. Either way. Yep. Pop in for
Try for the big boy. They did force a rotation top from burning, so
IG's ready though.
But yeah, that looks like they have a really good idea this is happening.
Anti-Mage is being pulled back in, and he's going to bring the Vladimir's offering with him. Wavy Terror, Luo just walks straight in, but he cannot see into the pit anymore. There's your Malik, and the blinding light puts him up on top of the cliffside. They'll hold him in with a shards, and Roshan, Arteezy is still going to work on him. Decides to back it up, just blinks himself away as Luo was having the easiest time walking out past the ogres. Just go back to the lanes. You chipped Roshan down, you force IG to come back, and you just go back to your farming game. They're under no pressure to take Roshan.
That was still a play IG needed to make. Even though they don't get a fight, at least they stop the Rosh. So I want to say mission accomplished for them. Just
but for how long is that mission accomplished?
That is a very good question. But it was the smoke used by Secret. They did not get Roshan. They did not get a kill. And IG are able to regroup and go again. Anti-Mage still without Manta. This, considering how much net worth is on him, I think he has less of a teamfight impact than a Shadow Fiend with 3k less.
He's got Manta now.
Yeah, when that flies out, things are going to change. There we go. So
it's actually coming on the courier at the moment to him while he's taking the Radiant Ancients, and now going to take out the top lane as well. How does IG even deal with this? Like, you think it was a fight that IG had to take to try and stop Roshan. But now Anti-Mage returns to the top lane. He's instantly getting recalled. And now IG think they're actually going for Roshan, which, hilariously enough, they're not. But IGE, they have an Observe Ward in the mid, and Secret just smoked right on top of it. So IG should be 100% aware of what they are doing. The only irony would be if IG smoked on top of the Dire Observe Ward, which is in their jungle.
All right, this play is so sick, actually. So it was going to be... IG thought that Secret wanted them to think they were roshing with AM, or that they pulled him in for that, but then they see the smoke mid, so they think it's a smoke gank. And then instead they send Arteezy into the pit and turn to try to solo it, and they still figure it out. So another smoke from Secret, not successful.
Arteezy's coming in behind. He's actually up on the high ground, right behind Burning as well as Chuan. But the funny thing is, Puppey isn't there.
He's going to cut the wave in mid.
He can actually TP. They just can't keep momentum, and even S4's moving down the bottom end to keep it in. And ID have had enough of this. They're not playing Ring a Rosie. They're coming in to take out Roshan. Roshan will be killed by the Radiant. Leshrac will take the Aegis Immortal, but they're all trapped in here. Copping Illuminus to the face. Fade is around the back end. There's no vision. The snowball's in. It's dying close. Hurricane trying to escape. He doesn't need the sentry wall. Just on the edge. Ferrari fires up the oldie. He's going to be in range of Puppey, who's now also dead. The number 4 you have Faith thrown up on top of the cliffside, but he's got swap available. Kuro doesn't want to come back into this. Navy can still swap and get back down again. He's got one race, but he's stranded on the high ground. IG take 3, as well as Roshan, and a horrendous fight for Secret.
They just found that 5-second window where Secret were not ready. That was absolutely perfect from them, going for the play. They see Arteezy trying to cut the wave in mid. They see Puppey top, so they know that until Puppey is ported bottom, AM doesn't join either. And just that little bit of time is enough as Arteezy looking for Faith.
Does he have enough with the mana point? Okay, he actually stopped walking and accepted his fate. Nice. He dies like a soldier.
What? That was really weird. I think it could have actually... He could have at least made it to his tier 3, and then maybe Arteezy just gives up, but instead he's just like, all right, you can have one back. Thanks for the Rosh.
Accept my fate, you're the consolation prize. That's 14-12, and this advantage with Secret Howard about 7,500 gold. Starts coming back. Back to 5,000 gold, and the experience is hovering around 3,002. So Secret's big lead. Not as big as it used to be, but the leading net worth is still Arteezy. 16,000 is his net worth, and the nearest to him is 12,000 on the SF.
And the thing to keep in mind with Anti-Mage in this version where creep kills have been nerfed as well as in terms of gold gain, both in the jungle and in the lanes. Arteezy will not be getting as far ahead as usual.
Puppey being hunted by Ferrari.
Sees it and gets away.
It was the Shadow Blade which was trying to get Ferrari to the front lines.
This is an interesting build-up. I think Ferrari will want to go for the Silver Edge this time. We've seen him just get the Shadow Blade casually on Shadow Fiend in order to set him up for ults. But being able to remove that spell shield from AM should be very, very useful in allowing Lash to blow him up. We have a lot of spell damage between the raises and Requiem as well, of course. And could be a nice addition to their repertoire.
Another smart TP out from Arteezy, blinking to the tree line just below the tier 3 tower of the Radiant on bot lane. Understanding again that the players are behind him. Great just map awareness from Arteezy, but he's still going to be aware that Ferrari is on the hunt. Shadow Blade charge being used again, but Arteezy is moving from camp to camp, and in this case, Ancient, and they can't do anything to really stop it. But 3.6k gold, probably the Eagle's song to be picked up now as he walks to the shop. He'll continue walking, and yep, maybe you're right. Mana Star's going to go Luo very quickly down on his mana, and the illusions will just chase all the way in. So you actually want to see him go for a straight BKB. I suppose with the amount of stuns, it makes sense.
Tower is under attack.
I think it's a good choice. I'm not sure if it's what he's considering. He could have bought it just then, but he bought a TP. So maybe he's looking at his options before he makes the decision.
Give him time. Again, it's one of those Secrets under pressure. As long as AM keeps moving between his camps, it gives time for Secret to just discuss what they really want to be doing here. You get a Blink Dagger on Rubik, so he's at his timing. That's just a standard item for Kuro. But what do you want out of this Tusker? He's already providing so much with both Solar Crest as well as Glimmer Cape. What more do you even want from him? What does the Viper go next? Aghanim Scepter as well as the Mech. Another 2.7k gold. Do you try and get something like the Assault Cuirass? Do you go for something more tankier for the Viper?
I think getting Cuirass on S4 would be a pretty good pick. Alternatively, another BKB. When you look at the Radiant lineup, it just seems to be a really big value item. There's so much damage you can block, and there's a lot of key stuns that you would be able to avoid as well. So I think for Secret, it's either they all get BKBs or none of them get it. And then if that's the case, I actually think a pipe on Zai would be pretty good in this game, where he has a Midas, he can farm it up, he needs some tankability himself. I mean, sure, he's got a lot of armor, but his health pool is really, really weak against all these spells, so he either needs the pipe for the team or some sort of health for himself. Okay,
I want to ask you a question about Ferrari. You're running a Shadow Blade. Now, if this isn't the cheapest item to use, it's 75 mana to actually use it. You've then got 225 mana you're burning from the mech. An illusion just hit him 5 times and took his mana down to 1/3. How is Ferrari meant to keep mana to continue to fight? There's no one charges available for him, so he can't just go to that. And you're popping a lot of mana to get off both 3 Rages and your Requiem of Souls.
He's fully dependent on a perfect BKB timing. If he doesn't do that, he is in a lot of trouble. And I think if he tries to itemize to have more mana, you know, not something like a Shiva, right? But let's say you get a Skadi, for example, an item that both gives you damage, tankability, and mana.
Yeah.
They might not have enough hard hitting for Arteezy come the next, let's say, minute 40. They need some sort of single target damage that really hurts. And
you practically need him with Monkey King Bar, because Arteezy could just finish up a full butterfly, but he's actually going to go for control factor. VS swapping inside, the perfect stun on burning. That is just beautiful synergy coming out from IG to kill off Zai.
How much gold is that kill? That is 1,000 gold swing?
Yep, 444, the bulk of it going into the SF.
Just these single pickoffs are really, really valuable. I'm surprised they get so much for it, considering they're not further behind than 7,500. I guess Zai's net worth in this game is pretty high, sitting on 10k before that death.
Luo just lost every bit of mana he had. The full Abyssal Blade is now done for Arteezy. He's got those golden rapiers as blades. I think he's actually got more money than that. He could have an extra set at home. This Anti-Mage is getting completely farmed out, and there's nothing that Luo can really do about it, because he can't keep mana up during fights. Is it possible?
He's gonna try for Luo. Yes, he is.
Yeah, why not? You got your Abyssal Blade control with the mana point. The BKB also gets triggered, and he still finds the kill. That was the 10-second BKB burn. And 60 seconds on the sideline, not to mention a solo kill, rewarding him with 633 gold.
Perfect timing on the ult uses as well from Arteezy. He needs to time it so that he gets it off right before the BKB with maximum mana burn, and just jumping in with Abyssal for the 2-second stun is enough to get completely out of mana.
Finds the stun, burning, follow-up stun. He actually dodges it out. The two illusions stayed in the range for the split earth. But he just went the other direction now, waits in the trees and blinks up to the rest of his teammates. Then the burning. Oh, he came in to try and do the T-Ward, shows himself in the tree line, and he'll go down or at least face. Has to sacrifice himself for the greater good, but gives Kuro a level 2 swap. He blinks down, brings Ferrari back. A Abyssal Blade still on cooldown for now on Arteezy. Can't find the RNG to get the bash. But he'll move straight back into farming and taking the tier 2 tower in the mid. This is why you have to watch Kuro's Rubik.
Middle tower is under attack.
He's so quick with these things.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Now the Anti-Mage is another 2,300 gold.
He's getting mixed out very quickly. Controlling the map very nicely. The fact that IG lose this little bit of a skirmish here in the bottom lane just opens up way more, gives them more time. There is indeed going to be the silver edge for Ferrari this game. As I mentioned, I do agree with this pickup, but it might just be coming out too late. 34 minutes is not the best timing in the world. And of course, Arteezy is scaling so fast that even if they can remove his spell shield, there's no guarantee they can even burst him down, especially not while Rubik has the swap available. It's just not going to happen. He can swap, then blink instantly.
Life is just beyond hard. It's about to get harder. The Aghanims is done for Puppey. So this global control that we saw Secret manipulate perfectly yesterday, it can happen again. Wherever you want to go, you're always going to have that recall to pull you back in again. Just keep your distance. And in fact, that silver edge, which Ferrari's got, he can't use to initiate. Kuro just buys a gem. He says, enough with this. We'll just get the vision up and running.
Oh, I'm hearing BKB.
Yep, it's up on top lane. Luo is the man that triggered us. Arteezy was the one to jump in with that Abyssal Blade.
And now he's just playing the mind game because he just killed Luo in the bot lane with this kind of engage. So now Luo is going to be scared of the same type of engage, which I think this time wouldn't actually have worked for Arteezy since Luo had full mana and full health when the jump came in. And I believe he also even grabbed the plate mail since that last engage. Arteezy just playing the brain game and coming out ahead, forcing another BKB charge from Luo down to 8. And it's been the first charge he died with, and the second charge did nothing. So he's not going to be happy with his usage of that so far.
Kuro, I think it's time to drop down a sentry ward, pick up the gem. We get a blink dagger over on Zai. So the blink into punch is now available from the Tuskar. Arteezy, wherever he wants to farm Puppey, will take him. And looks like they may even have a crack at bottom. Luo just trying to survive up against these Manta illusions, which have taken away, again, majority of his mana, and the catapult could just move down and start attacking into the tier 2 tower. So if they're not careful, the tower could even... No, okay, they get rid of the catapult, but the tower's within deny range. But Arteezy, he's got another creep wave coming in on your tier 3 tower on bottom lane.
Is under attack.
There just doesn't seem to be anywhere that IG is capable of moving. It's so similar to what happened, I almost want to say, in the VG game. Yeah, Fnatic game. You want to fight, but you just can't. Like, there's just no choice.
That's going to give them a leg. They're playing it very methodically. They're doing such a good job at map controlling. This is pretty much a textbook example of how you want to play the Dire lineup against the Radiant lineup. You want to avoid the direct fights. You want to keep farming. Arteezy just ate
a moonshot,
a little bit of a crystal. Getting some more attack speed as he is getting maxed out. And the reason he goes for that is that he has the Aegis, else he would have got another item first and used that slot. But this is just going to up his farm rate even more.
Up the farm rate, up the chance for also getting that bash during the fights. It's just easy upgrades for the Anti-Mage. When you've got the cash, why not? And this is the way we're an Anti-Mage. Like, normally we kind of say an Anti-Mage will drop off around the 45 to 50 mark because he's just maxed out. He can't grow any further than that. But that's the point when something like a moonshot can help you to do so. All right, where they're getting pulled up to the top lane.
Oh, burning.
Going right onto burning. And, well, with the stars burning, there's your stuns, Abyssal Blades, and he is so dead. Pulse is over, even being stolen by Kuro. And can they find the other one? Nope. Chon able to TP himself away.
Another BKB charge doing nothing here for IG. As Burning uses his 10-second one, still dies. When's the last time they found something on the map? They found one kill when they killed Tusk 7 minutes ago, I think. That might be 6 minutes ago on that graph. Before that, we're looking back another 5 minutes. Secret's just not letting them find anything.
They're going to find more kills. Faith on the other side of tree line finds Lure to start with. It's Arteezy. There goes your first bash. He hasn't got the Abyssal Blade up and running, but he just jumps down. There's your BKB going again, but the drum charge actually triggered out. Runs himself away as quick as he can. Fearful as ever that Arteezy can just keep going, which he really can. But Aegis the Immortal still being there. He's burned only 2 minutes of the duration of it. But they're ready to go high ground. Like, you got a full assault cuirass over on your Viper with the Aghanims. Koro is ready to jump at a moment's notice. He's even got Pulse Nova. Like, the mana pool maybe not the greatest to support it with only 1,000, but he can still pump out a crap ton of damage. And Zai's got Initiation plus Ieback having 2,200 gold up his sleeve.
I actually think Koro's just immediately going to spell steal something else. He won't want to put himself in the position where Pulse Nova will be necessary. It is great damage, but he can do greater things at a distance for sure. So it's not the spell he was hoping for when they went on Ferrari. He wanted to steal Lightning Storm, I think. Didn't find it. And, well, you know, if you don't try, you don't get any spell, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You can just try again on someone else.
Smart TP out by burning.
Just look at this map. They're so cornered inside their own base. They really can't get out. Secret are pushing all the lanes, farming all the jungle, forcing out BKBs for nothing. And now they decide it's going to...
Well, how quick can they do it? The sun's already gone over on Arteezy. And, well, Lure, he's a little bit controlled, keeps the back turned to S4, looking for the full spray stacks to go into S4, not to mention he's mana leaked. So it's kind of difficult to see where he is.
IG have to fight now. It's going to be daytime in 30 seconds, and then this is going to be twice as hard against that Toddler Luminate.
Well, Burning's got a little bit more survivability when he goes in. It's actually a plate mount. Sitting back there to swap on Poppy. Snowball comes in. Couldn't save his Keeper of the Light, but BS, he can. Still swap off again. Blinding Wave. The chemistry side is down the grunt. They want to be picking this one up, but Luo, he's so far back. Arteezy ignored the rest of the wall. He's caught for the Keeper tower on top. It's Domino Burning all by himself. He's a 3-on-1. Arteezy goes man mode with the back from Ferrari for 3-0. Can he find more? He just goes back to Rax. Remember, objective-based gaming. The rest of his team is on the bottom. Ferrari's trying to stop Arteezy, but he can't do it. The blink away to safety. The top melee Rax is gone. The bottom melee Rax will soon join it, and Arteezy comes back for seconds. He wants the range Rax on top or move towards the mid. Secret's mopping up the rest of the bottom, and it looks hopeless for IG right now.
Radiant's top barracks are under
Gonna lose 2 lanes Rax. This is...
I think we lost 3.
I think this is over. I don't know what they can do anymore. There's 30 seconds on Bristle. I think their chance of taking a team fight is pretty much non-existent without him. Arteezy just doesn't care.
He's waiting 10 seconds until he's got the Abyssal Blade off cooldown. Then he'll probably have a crack at it. But they just keep putting the Solar Crest on him. So he's 100% fine with the jumps in. They're both doing the melee, and Ferrari swap back out again. Kuro still has the triple stun from Chon. Right way for Ferrari, going to be pulled up towards the air with the water gun. The only sneaky goal with the snowball back, Secret haven't lost anything. In fact, I think they've won it. Anyway, they've destroyed them all. They've got the hero. IG, they're all dead. Mike game number 1, this best of 3 semi-final of ESL Mons Frankfurt. It goes to the tournament favorites. Now they are 1 victory away from facing up against EG and denying IG the potential to have exactly the same final as we had here in 2014. The IG versus EG matchup. It's looking difficult, Sind.
That might be the biggest outplay of the tournament past minute 20. It, like, IG couldn't do anything on the map. And